Thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop. On today's review, we take a look at the Hot Toys DC The Batman The Dark Knight Rises. Today I'll be reviewing this vehicle in the following categories: design, is it essential to your collection, functionality, and price. Once all scores are totaled, I give you my opinion if this vehicle is a pass or a purchase. So my shooting area is a tight confinement, so I can barely show the entirety of the box itself. No need to worry, we're going to get this out. So for design, let's really take a close look and let's focus on the turrets first. The silver is painted very well. You have some gunmetal here. You have some details to where you can see it transitioning from that silver to that darker gunmetal color. And in here where it might be pistons, you can see possibly some bronze type of colors, maybe oil stains. Looking at the tires is absolutely, in my opinion, the best part of this vehicle. They are dirty, they feel heavy. The tires makes this purchase worth it. They are done very, very well. Continuing on, you have a similar silver, if not the same, up here. Continuing down on the panels to where he sits. The seats themselves, as well as the knee rest, are okay. They're not particularly done great. Wish we would have had some weathering, some dirty details up in here on the wires, but there isn't. I do like that the kick pedal or foot plate back here is actually painted. And if you flip this around, you see the disc brakes, you see some rusting on the brake pads as well as the rotors. Really like that detail right there. I'm surprised that when it comes to the throttle, maybe this is the better one to see, that, oh, it is painted silver. So yeah, I was gonna say I'm surprised Hot Toys didn't catch that, but they did. So for design, the only thing I really would have wanted more is additional paint applications, maybe blue or burnt tips here. Definitely some splashes of dirt or grease throughout the body. So for overall design, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. So is the batpod essential to your collection? If you are a 1/6 scale Batman collector, the answer is absolutely. If you are a 1/6 scale collector looking for cool vehicles to add to your display, then yes, the answer is yes. If it's one thing that 1/6 collectors don't have many of, it's vehicles. And I feel when you have an opportunity to add vehicles to your collection, even if it's not specific to that property, you kind of need to. So as far as this being essential to your collection, I'm going to go ahead and deduct 2 points as this is a reissue. You thought that I was finished there. However, I'm going to go ahead and add a point because this has doubled in value. So this new reissue is actually cheaper than the older one. So as far as being essential to your collection, I'm going to go ahead and give the batpod a 9 out of 10. So for functionality, the batpod comes out of the package with some plastic, which I removed. Please be very careful with the plastic around this wire as it is very tight, sealed with a piece of tape. I used scissors. I was pretty careful, but I can see where mistakes can be made. You also get this inside of the package, which attaches somewhere along the bike. We'll be sure to install it during the video. So a part that I struggled with, and there are directions, they seem pretty clear, but for some reason I just didn't think that this would work. I assume that this portion where the handles are should be along the line something like this. So when I seen how this was supposed to be put on, I thought it was wrong. But simply it goes like this. Let's zoom in for a moment. There's a hole inside of here. This hole attaches right on this point. We will attach it, but before doing so, I think it makes more sense to attach this. So using these two support beams, there is no indication left or right. However, one side is made specific to each side. If you go ahead and take this part and port it in that hole here. Okay, it took some time for me to figure out, but I think I got it situated. So I want to show the directions for a moment. They seem pretty simplistic enough, but I had a hard time following them as it's hard to tell exactly what area of the vehicle this is. With some time, I was able to figure it out. So with this portion here, there's actually a hole on this bar. Hopefully you can see it on the camera, but the hole is right here. The idea is to get this piece into this hole right there, and then to clip this piece right here. So that's not something I think I can safely do on camera. When I say safely, I'm talking about damaging the vehicle. So I'm going to go off camera to do that. So I want to show you how this looks before we proceed. It's in, it's pretty tight. I did have to twist it to get it in. Once it's in, I don't think this is something that you want to be removing. So now with this portion, this actually goes like this. The hole is here, and we're going to go ahead and put it on this piece, and then I'm going to do my best to clip that piece here. Again, I'm going to do that off camera. So that took me longer than I care to admit, but I do have it in place. This part is securely up here, and you have the extra support. It's not gripping the inside that tight, but I guess it's better than nothing. I already put this one on, and it's the same process. You're going to go ahead and take this support bar, place it in the hole, which is about here, and then that will do it. So the next area that we will tackle will be the seat. What you want to do, well, what I did anyway, is hold down this part and sort of lift it from the back, which gives way. The reason it's coming off a bit easy is because I did it. I was very nervous about this. The reason that you want to remove this is to get access to this compartment right here. There is a screw here, one singular screw to remove, and I'm going to remove this so that we can insert the batteries. So with that screw removed, and it took longer than expected to remove it, that gives access to a compartment that takes 2 AAA batteries. Fortunately, I have those. Most households probably have AAA batteries. With the battery compartment back, we're going to go ahead and attach the seat. So if you lift the vehicle up, underneath it is a light switch. I'm going to go ahead and dim my lights. The lights dim, let's turn that switch on, and you get an idea. Well, let me back up the camera, and hopefully you get an idea of how bright the lights are. They're pretty bright. Fortunately, my display stand isn't long enough to have the vehicle sit forward facing, so I do have to hold it. All right, let's turn that off. Let's turn my lights back on. And let's get this situated. I guess we haven't shown this side yet, so let's go ahead. So let's get an idea of scale. So here's the Hot Toys Christian Bale figure next to it. Maybe that's a bit of a better view. Let's go ahead and put him in front. So with my Hot Toys figure, yes, the foot is missing. This figure is just problematic. You see the cape. This just wasn't that well engineered. I'm going to attempt to get him to sit on the batpod. We'll see how that works. So this is absolutely not right. There are many limitations with the suit itself. It is very hard to get this leg to move forward, so then that makes it hard for him to put his knee here and then for me to stretch the leg back. So if you have the older version of this Batman, yeah, that's not gonna work. Maybe the new Hot Toys will work better with this, but the functionality in this suit limits what it can do on the Batpod. So on each wheel you have these red tabs, which will allow the wheels to roll freely. With the tabs in, they are locked. We're simply going to move the front, as I'm curious if these weapons rotate any. So with that move, the weapons roll very well. The wheels roll very well. Has a real nice feel. Unfortunately, the weapons themselves do not. Now, something else that I noticed while the wheels were rolling is that this actually has a functional suspension. If you push down, you can see the bounce and the flex, so that's pretty cool. The frame itself is mostly made out of metal. Happy about that. The tires themselves are real rubber, and this is what really makes this vehicle feel premium. You have movement in the bars up front, flexing out about that much, going in about that much, and that works the same way on both sides. Now, for the knee bracers, this doesn't move, as well as where his feet rest, that doesn't move as well. Now, the concern with this, the wires, what do you call this? The throttle. These plastic parts feel very brittle. So this is not something that you want to take outside and play with. This is not something you want to have your kids playing with. While some parts are metal and you have strong rubber, there are plastic bits, and those bits feel very flimsy, cheaply made or constructed. So another issue I came across is once you remove this tab, there's no indicator where it actually... Wait, maybe I was wrong. Maybe there is an indicator. Yeah, there's no indicator exactly where this goes. I see some holes now that I have the light here. Maybe it's this one? Possibly. Okay, all right, I kind of take that back. If you shine the light inside here, you'll see a series of holes. You have to choose one until the wheels stop rotating. So for functionality, I would really like, being that this does have some functional suspension, if the wheels themselves could turn. Unfortunately, they cannot. I do like the light up feature. Should have had some movement in the turrets, though I'm not sure if it did that in the movie. So for overall functionality, I'm going to go ahead and give this an 8 out of 10. Just before we jump into pricing, almost forgot to mention for the functionality department, very happy with the simplistic battery compartment. This is something that Hot Toys need to expand to some of their other figures. So now for pricing. This vehicle comes in at $260. Add in taxes, add in shipping, you're looking at a price point of roughly $330. So now, is the batpod worth the price of admission? So in terms of accessories, let's see what it comes with. You're looking at it. It comes with absolutely nada, not even a display base, not fire effect for the turrets, not even batteries or a small screwdriver for the screw compartment. So for pricing, $260 for a 1/6 scale vehicle isn't bad at all. The shipping and the taxes are what they are. But if you are a 1/6 scale collector, there aren't a lot of vehicles to choose from. And to have an option to where you can buy one that's less than $800 is a pretty good option. So for pricing, I'm going to go ahead and give the batpod a 10 out of 10. That should give the batpod an overall cliff score of... So now is the batpod a pass or a purchase? So it's important to remember that this is a reissue. So there are collectors that already have this in their possession. And for those collectors, I don't think there's a need to rebuy this batpod. Now, for those of us that missed out on this item, whether you didn't want it at the time or if you weren't collecting Hot Toys at that time, now you have an option to get it. And for those collectors, I'm going to say that this is an absolute purchase. Thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop, and I hope to see you during the next episode.